My name is Kurt Travis. I'm in a band called A Lot Like Birds. I've been in the band for about a year. I'm the singer, and we've been on tour for about 3 months now. I have been singing since I was about 11 or 12. I started playing guitar when I was 13, and just being in school choirs and doing musicals and kind of Broadway-esque shows when I was a little kid helped me project and sing the way that I do now. What inspired me? My family has all been musicians. My grandfather was a Frank Sinatra lounge singer, and he wasn't Frank Sinatra, but he did Frank Sinatra covers. And I don't know, just my family, my cousins played in bands, and I really wanted to play in bands when I was a little kid. I think that's basically what inspired me to start doing it. Well, I started out as a singer-songwriter, wrote my own songs, playing at coffee shops. I started playing in a band shortly after that when I was about 17 called 5 Minute Ride. I was in the band for 5 years. We did 2 records. The second record got signed to a record label called Rise Records. Then after that, I started a band called Oh the Joy. Kind of the same members, but new drummer, and our old drummer from 5 Minute Ride played bass, and I was in that band for about 3 or 4 years. I was also doing a solo folk duet called There and Back Again.
I seem to find the darkest places, recognize the strangest faces.
I did that pretty much at the same time as Oh the Joy, and then I started another band called No Not Constant. We did like a little EP. It wasn't really anything much, but we played around Sacramento, greater Sacramento area. And then I started playing with Dance Gavin Dance.
You applied me to someone else! We could not get up here. The stairs have collapsed on top of us. No one said it was.
And I was in that band for about 5 years. Did 2 records with them. Toured all over the world. I went to Australia. We did Europe abroad about 2 times. Canada, Mexico, the United States about 10 times. After that, I am currently in the band A Lot Like Birds. And I've been in that band for about a year. And I also, it's kind of funny, the first thing I started my solo stuff. I'm finally actually doing that now and going on tour with that.
There's no sweat on your brow. Do you remember when there was, when all you needed was?
Record companies, basically, my interactions with record companies has been pretty smooth. Basically nowadays major labels are kind of the ones that kind of jerk you around and promise you a bunch of stuff and give you a lot of money and then take it all away when you don't sell a lot of records. And so I've basically been getting signed by independent record labels with major label subsidiaries. Basically I've done I've signed a one-off, which is like a 1-record contract. I've signed a 2-record contract. I've signed a 3-record contract. The 3-record contract is with Dance Gavin Dance. Yeah, I mean, record labels, they don't really do much. They sell your CD. They do advertising for the record that's coming out. Basically, the biggest thing about a record label is their distribution, how many stores they can put your CD in. Best scenario being like Walmart or Virgin Records or Best Buy or something like that, which I have had the privilege of having my CD in places like that. So that's pretty much what you want to look for when you sign a record label, to a record label. You want to make sure they have good distribution, and if they have enough money to promote your record as far as advertising, because if nobody knows that you put out a record, then nobody's going to buy it. The music industry in general, there's promoters, there are booking agents, there are managers. These all fall under A&R and basically just management for your band and other bands. Management usually takes about 15%, give or take, depending on what you signed with them. And they do everything for you. Basically, you don't do anything but get up on stage, play your show, get in the bus, go to the next venue. That's pretty much everything else they do that, except for handle your money. That's another manager completely. A business manager handles all your money, does your taxes, writes off all your expenses because you're your own business, that sort of thing. Being in a band is kind of like, having your own company. I think it's good. I think that nowadays musicians have to really, really impress people in order for them to actually go out and buy your record. Also, you can't be under all of this hype, and once, because everybody can download your record. Excuse me. So you basically have to write something really good. Kind of pushes bands to write good music because they can just download your shit for free. So, you can't really just be a band as far as hype. Back in the 80s, 70s, 60s, a lot of bands, that were big back then, it's basically the reason is that you didn't have MP3 players, you didn't have the internet, you had vinyl, you had records, you had actual records, and you couldn't burn a CD, you couldn't do anything like that. So, there's a lot of artists that are at that level of, stardom or what have you, but don't have the money to show for it. But there's other ways to get money nowadays, and it's basically you have to play a good live show. If you can't sing live, or if you can't play your instrument live, then you're pretty much screwed. So I think it's good because with music and with life and the world and everything, it's always going to change, and you have to adapt to that. It's really hard. It's fun, but it's really, really hard. You're with a bunch of people that you love, but you know, there's also people that you really, really, really miss at home, and it's kind of funny. It's like right when you get on the road, you want to be home. When you're home, you kind of want to be on the road. So it's a very bittersweet kind of, you know, I don't know. There's pros and cons to it. It's a job, just like everybody else. You know, everybody else has to do a job. Our job is the coolest job, in my opinion, but it's still a job. The more money you make on tour, the more lenient you can be as far as, you know, staying at hotels or what have you. Being a band that's just starting out, I would recommend trying to hit people up online and trying to get, you know, just places to stay for free. Usually we can, you know, get somebody on the guest list or something like that that's putting us up. You know, sometimes you have like a 12-hour drive, and you know, the only place that you can go and sleep for a few hours before you have to go drive again is a hotel. So yeah, I mean, it just depends on your band, you know, and how long you've been doing it. The guys that have been doing it longer just insist on being in hotels because they've already put in the legwork and they've already slept on people's floors and got bitten by spiders, and you know, I mean, it's just crazy. So you know, hopefully, and you know, obviously, the longer you do it, the longer you stay in the same band, the more successful hopefully you'll be, and that's pretty much the way of things. Performing, very energetic, like feelings come out of me. I love the music that I play. I love getting into it and, you know, rocking out, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's the best part of my day. Everything else pretty much sucks. You know, you're in a van for 6-7 hours, you know, in order to play a half an hour. So everything else is just kind of waiting and bullshit. So playing Pokemon. It's inspiring, yeah. I mean, like to have somebody come up to you and say that, you know, they're your favorite singer or they're, you know, your favorite band or whatever, and you know, it's a good feeling.